Hello, it's John Heaton, and a couple of people asked me to do a Doctor Who video. I wouldn't normally talk about Doctor Who on this channel because it's mainly a music channel, but in case any of you guys are interested, and sorry if you're not familiar with Doctor Who, it's a UK sci-fi series, started in the 60s, still going today, quite popular in America, but mainly popular in Britain. We've had 13 actors playing the part of the Doctor, who's a Time Lord who travels in time and space. And what I'm going to do today is just go through the 10 stories which have been animated or partly animated, because what the BBC did is they lost about 90-something episodes. They just got rid of them in the early 70s due to storage reasons. A bit of a criminal act looking back on it, but with hindsight it's easy to say that. But a couple of episodes have turned up in Nigeria. In 2014, I think 11 episodes or 10 episodes unseen turned up in Nigeria, and 4 episodes turned up in Hong Kong in 1992, and the odd one over the years, but nothing in the last 6 years. And so in the absence of these missing episodes, what they're doing is they're getting an animation team to come in and make a cartoon animated version of the missing episodes, and it works pretty well. It's obviously better than nothing, not quite as good as if we discovered the missing episodes, but given that we're probably not going to do that, it's the best thing we can hope for. So number 10, and these are all good, it's just I have to put them in some kind of order. I've got Shada, and the reason I put this last is because the location footage survives, and you can see that with Tom Baker and the crew acting it out, and the bits which were missing were the studio bits, so those are the bits which had to be animated. And it's quite a good story. It's not bad, probably better than a lot of the stories from that particular season, apart from City of Death, but not an all-time classic. Number 9, we have the Macra Terra, and I'm delighted to see Patrick Troughton's stories released, because Patrick Troughton's my favourite Doctor. William Hartnell's second, John Pertwee third, Tom Baker fourth. And delighted to see this, but it's not perhaps the best story, and I'm not sure why they chose it. These monsters are not particularly effective even in cartoon form, let alone if we'd seen it live in the 60s. I'm not sure how effective they would have been. I didn't see it at the time, a bit too young. But it's good to have, and you can have the option of watching it in colour and black and white. Unlike The Power of the Daleks, which was a 6-episode Troughton's debut actually, after taking over from William Hartnell in '66, they rather cheekily only gave us the black and white here, and if you wanted the colour you had to buy a Steel Ray special edition, so that was a bit of a rip-off, which I wasn't too happy about, but it's great to have this Dalek episode, and they're going to do Evil of the Daleks pretty soon coming up, I think, which was the end of the same season. Then we've got the Reign of Terror. No, we've got the Faceless Ones next, Troughton, where 2 episodes survive. Episodes 1 and 3 survive, so we've animated 2, 4, 5, 6. And I think it's really good to watch it with a mixture of the real footage and the animated footage. And I love the scenes at Gatwick Airport. And I particularly love the farewell scene of Ben and Polly on here, which we'd never seen before. Well, we won't ever see again the original, but we see it in animated form, which is better than nothing. Then we've got The Reign of Terror. It's a superb story from William Hartnell, and here they only had to animate 2 out of the 6 episodes because the remaining 4 survived. Same with the Faceless Ones, actually. Sorry, with the Faceless Ones they animated 4 out of 6. Here they only had to animate 2. So I think this is really well animated, and they make good use of the historical costumes and stuff, and I remember being really impressed. I haven't watched it for a while, but that was number 6. Number 5, we've got The 10th Planet. Well, here the first 3 episodes survive, and the very end of episode 4 survives, the regeneration from Hartnell to Troughton. So that missing episode 4 was animated, and it's a little bit frustrating because the Doctor is absent for most of that episode, even though it's his last episode on screen. So it's a bit disappointing. I'm not sure if he was too well at the time, by all accounts, and when he does regenerate, he just says something like, "I'm very tired," and there was no gusto about it, or no great performance like when Dave Tennant regenerated. He just collapsed on the floor, basically. Anyway, it's a great story. It features the first incarnation of the Cybermen, and they're unique in this story because they have the up and down voices, which I actually like. They made a comeback recently with Capaldi. Now, number 4, we've got a story from Troughton's first season. Again, it's another similar siege under threat from the Cybermen. But it's got a new design, the Cybermen, and here we've got 2 episodes surviving, two episodes animated, and it's an absolutely timeless story, especially I think it's the end of episode 3 when they're all walking across the moon towards the ship they're in, and just really well animated that. Number 3, the Ice Warriors, iconic monster introduced in the time of Patrick Troughton, was used again in the Seeds of Death with Troughton and with Pertwee, Curse of Peladon, Monster of Peladon, and came back for Cold War in the new series, but probably been underused over the years. I wish they'd come back fully for a proper adventure. Trouble with it, with most monsters that come back from the classic series, they tend to not be as good, like the Silurians for sure, the Sontarans pretty much for sure, the Daleks, well, they're about the same, I suppose. So maybe we just let a good thing rest and just leave the Ice Warriors to how we remember it best. But this is, again, just 2 episodes needed to be animated out of 6 because the other 4 survive, and brilliant performance from the cast as usual. The animation perhaps not quite as good as some of the others, but the story is brilliant. Peter Barkworth's in there as the leader of the base, and he was in a few other things like Where Eagles Dare, and he was in Secret Army for 1 episode, I seem to remember. Number 2, this one's just come out, and it's a brilliant story with seaweed as the monster, and they filmed it at Red Sea Sands Fort, I think it's called, in the Thames Estuary, which were these weird metal constructions coming out of the sea, which were designed to defend Britain against incoming German aircraft, and they're still standing to this day, I think, because in the extras, Fraser Hines and Michael Bryant go and visit that location, and it's just a superb 6-parter, completely animated, all the episodes missing, brilliant helicopter sequences, probably even more amazing on the animated version than on the original, although the helicopter pilot's in the extras, and he was quite an amazing pilot, apparently, doing some pretty daring maneuvers. So that was Fury from the Deep. As I said in an earlier video, probably the highlight of my lockdown year has been that release and the Faceless Ones earlier in the year. I'm not joking. Number 1, The Invasion, probably my favourite. In my favourite 2 Doctor Who stories of all time, 6 out of 8 episodes exist. They only had to animate episodes 1 and 4, I think it is, and brilliant performance from Kevin Stoney, and really the animators didn't have to use too much of their imagination because they had 6 episodes to work from. So that probably makes, for me, the best animation out of all of these 10 DVDs. Superb, from the TARDIS landing in the field at the beginning of episode 1 with the cows, and the episode in the event in episode 1 where the truck gets stopped and the driver gets shot on the way to the chemical company, the electronic company. Just a marvellous story, and the Cybermen don't actually appear until more than halfway through the story, which makes it even more remarkable. The superb script keeps your attention, and as I say, Kevin Stoney steals the show along with Troughton. Brilliant acting performances. So that was my top 10 animated stories. It just ranked in terms of how enjoyable they are to watch from start to finish. They're all enjoyable. Had to rank them somewhere. Sorry if you didn't agree. Thanks for watching. See you next time.